Got you.
Yeah. All right.
Man, technology. Well, listen, I know you're probably a very busy man, so we'll jump into it. Firstly, thank you so much for joining us. And I just wanted to talk briefly about this amazing guitar, maybe a little bit about the company, just a little to give some people some background and stuff. Um, so, yeah, wow, is the first thing I would like to say. I'm really impressed. And I uploaded the video the other day and told people a little bit about the story of how we kind of
Yeah.
met, if you will. And I was very impressed with the gentleman's guitar. Super cool, by the way. I guess this was like a special one-off for him.
Yeah. It was one off, and definitely, Wiesiek is our friend. So
Yeah,
he was in our customer, but after the years, he became our friend because
uh,
we are pretty close, and he's every time he's in Gdańsk, so he's visiting us,
amazing.
and we have very nice conversation
Yeah,
around the music, artists,
yeah.
and thanks to him, actually, of course, on only we could make the guitar for you, and I could meet you. So not personally so far, but
Yes. Well, no, honestly, it's really my honor, and I've got a few thoughts that would be very interesting to discuss with you in a minute. But just because I'd like to clear this up, maybe we could tell people some of the specifics about the guitar. So
yeah.
this top, I've already had some comments about how beautiful the top is. So what is this wood
It's,
here?
this is we call it poplar, but in the industry people call it poplar burl.
Burl, yes.
We call it poplar because there's sometimes burl mixing with this kind of knots of the wood,
Yeah.
which is sometimes more visible, sometimes not. So
Uh-huh.
that's why we're using two names for that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Uh, it's basically woods come from Europe, of course, but mainly from Poland. So
Wow.
what I'm super proud to have.
That's
Yes,
wonderful. See,
good.
there you go. This is why we're having this conversation. I've learned something already, and that's just a lovely touch. So I don't know if you remember, the fingerboard is
It's ebony,
ebony. I thought so. And frets, are they
stainless steel,
stainless steel? That's good.
jumbo frets.
Jumbo. Yep, I thought so. And then on the back here.
This mahogany.
Yep.
Back is the body is mahogany, and
Yep.
neck is wangy and purple heart.
Beautiful. Yeah. And so it's laminated, right?
Yes.
Laminated rather when you put several, and that just gives it extra strength, isn't it? Is that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
true. It's true. And a part of that, there's two graphite rods inside
Wow.
just to make it more stabilized, and two action truss rods. So it works both ways. So you can adjust the neck very smoothly in any occasion you need. But I doubt that you need it. But sometimes, in the climate change,
Yeah.
in the when you're traveling, it's wood, so it's maybe it will be necessary, maybe not to make
Yeah.
a small adjustment.
No, that's really cool. Now, as I was testing the guitar when I did my unboxing video, and I by the time this comes out, there's another video I'm putting up today. And I was testing the pickups, and I realized that I don't know exactly. So, of course, this would be the back humbucker, and then kind
Yeah,
of a split. But in the
yeah,
middle, what's that?
yeah.
Do you remember?
The middle should be is two humbuckers.
Ah, two humbuckers.
Two
Okay, cool,
humbuckers.
nice. Yeah,
So
perfect.
there's different switching, which we officially announce next year.
Okay.
It's because you have our pickups. It's Valvetron pickups by Mayones,
Mm,
and we winding the pickups in opposite way. So neck is in different way than the bridge pickup. So it allows us to make the this coil split a little bit
ah,
different. So in
interesting.
the first position you have neck pickup. Second, you have inner coils of the two humbuckers.
Uh-huh.
Third position, two humbuckers. Fourth
Uh-huh.
position is outer coils. And
Right.
fifth position is a bridge. So you
Interesting.
don't need push-pull for making
Yeah.
like a kind of the sound of the single coils. But
Yeah.
the same way, when you're using the five-way switch in this configuration, you have no buzzing and anything like a noise from the
Interesting.
fire, or like for the typical for the single coils. So they're
Wow.
basically working like a different option of the humbuckers, but they are not next to each other, but they are like outer and inner coils. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And actually, Yeah, you're right. I've not noticed any buzzing so far, so that's really awesome. Um, and yeah, and like I say, so far so good. It feels really good. And personally, this configuration with the split is something I'm very comfortable with. Since wow, almost 20, no, yes, 20 years ago. I'm getting old. um, I originally I won this Music Man competition many years ago, 20 years
Mhm.
ago, and that guitar had this split. And before then, I used to play a telly, only
Oh, yeah.
three-way,
Mhm.
right? And when I first got the Music Man, it took me some time to get used to it. But then that configuration, ever since, I've always used. So I'm thrilled that that is what you guys use as well. And then the final thing to ask you about is this wonderful Sophia Tremolo. Is this something you've have you worked with these guys for a long time, or tell me a bit about these trems?
I discovered this tremolos on the NAM. I think it was 3 years ago, something
Ah,
like that, or maybe four.
yeah.
Our friend and also Hovak, he's the guy. Maybe you saw his daughter Ellen. This the little bass player.
Ah,
She's
yeah,
9 now.
yeah.
They lived in Las Vegas, and first Hovak was our endorser. Then he introduced me to the Sophia Tremelos, and we start cooperation. And his daughter start playing bass. So now we're making basses also for her.
Oh, beautiful.
It's very nice that father and daughter they both are playing and we can work together. That's super nice thing.
That is nice.
And
Yeah.
he recommend this company because
Mm.
he had two reduced core models
Uh-huh.
without tremolo, and he decided to make it by himself. So together with Sophia company,
Yeah.
and they made the great work with making the whole installation. He showed me how it works. I
Yeah.
was in the booth at the same time in the
Hmm.
Sophia, so decision was pretty easy, and we have to adjust our Hydra, and not only Hydra because we start implementing also for the reduce as well,
Uh-huh.
uh, and it works great.
It
So
really
far.
does. And again, in the video that I'm putting up later, I'm playing it and I'm like, oh, I forgot about the tremolo, and then I start having a great time with the trem, and it really does work well. I've been again since after I started playing the telly, and then I went to guitars with tremolos. I can't really express myself without tremolo, so it's so important for me. And you know, I've had a bunch of instruments, like 7 string and 8 string, where like years ago, where the tremolos perhaps weren't as fluid as they can be now. So my 8 string custom guitar had a Kaler trem, and no disrespect or anything, but I think it was at the early days of those tremolos,
Mhm.
and I found them a little stiff. I was happy that I had one, but if you're really trying to express yourself, you need, in my opinion anyway, a very smooth tremolo that you can make lots of nuanced
Mhm.
things.
Yeah,
So again, when I tested the ones up in Scotland, again, that was really, to be honest, that was a part of my decision as well. When I thought, yeah, my God, the trem is so good. So that was a big part of really looking forward to the instrument as well, because it's a big part of it for me.
great.
So I'm
Yeah.
thrilled about that. Now, so a question for you. May I ask, so who designs the guitars, like the shape and the stuff like that?
This is the pretty complex process because the idea comes from me
Yeah.
mostly, and uh, but also all the people working so the stuff
Yeah.
when they have any ideas, any creations, any
Yeah.
innovations they want
Mm.
to implement.
Yeah.
Where I'm open, and we are open, like because I'm running company with my brother, and my mother,
Yes.
because it's family business.
Yeah.
So we are open to hear that, and to think about maybe it's worth to do it, or
Mm.
if we have, it will be like a benefit for the customers and of course, and for the sales point, or simply just to give the new thing on the market, new
Yeah.
solution. We are okay with
Absolutely.
that, and if it's working.
Mm.
So basically, from start from me, and then the process is going forward through the designing and making prototypes. We do each guitar we make in prototype from the beginning, so 2, 3 even, until the moment that we know that it works. It's exactly what we want, and then we create the CNC, because the bodies and necks are partly made on CNC. It's normal
of
thing.
course. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I just wanted to say, like, what an amazing design. So I just wanted to give a compliment, because to me, I'm sort of, I love the shape. I like the particularly for me, obviously, that the Hydra suits me, and I like the way it looks. And you know, this to me is just such a lovely part. Also, I think that's a nice touch.
But this is also a very useful part. We call it Urest. So you can play the guitar in the classical position without detuning the bridge itself. So it doesn't matter if it's tremolo or it's a fixed bridge. The same thing works there. So that was the kind of design element, but very useful for different, ergonomic playing, different styles. So definitely it was one of the goals to create the headless. There is on the market, there are a lot of nice headless guitars around, I can say. And it's really hard to do something different and something new. It's so that's the point for us, was
But that's great for me to learn that also. I just thought it looked cool, but now I realize, that's the beauty, I suppose, of design, where practicality meets aesthetics, and I think you've really done a great job with that. And one other question, actually, in terms of scale length, do you remember, is this standard?
It's 25.4, so it's a standard scale.
Is that the Strat scale, or is it?
It's it's a Strat, but it's a Strat is 25.5. We have 25.4. It's a little bit shorter. It's to be honest, from the perspective when you compare both, you'll not notice big difference, but it comes from the past when we had the machine. Then we made the fret slots, and finally we made it for 25.4. And we want to keep the same scale. It's always people asking, why this is such a small difference? What's the point? There is not super important point, because you're not able to notice that, actually.
No, of course not. No, and I was, I was just intrigued anyway. I mean, for example, I have an 8-string that is also standard scale, and obviously these days there are more extended for larger range guitars. But I actually love the fact that it's standard. I like the idea personally to be able to play an instrument as I've been used to for my whole life, just with the extended string. And I think depending on how you play, and what you play, like obviously maybe some of the guys that are really chugging hard and they want thick strings, then maybe they're going to benefit a little bit. I don't know. I'm not super technical, but for me personally, I love the fact that it's comfortable scale length. Sorry.
Other scales we can offer is 26.5. It's basically for the 7 and 27-inch scale. So, and 28 as well we made. So
right. So for those guys, that you got them covered.
Yeah, relatively long scale. But for the 7-string, 26.5, 27 are most common for the 7-string version.
Yeah. And I had one final question about the guitar itself. So about the width as well. Is this a common width as well, standard?
Yeah.
Like the string spacing?
It's I know that DiMarzio, they call it F space. Seymour Duncan, for the bridge humbucker, the spacing they call it Trembucker. It's wider than for example Les Paul. It's because I'm comparing the 6-string, of course, now.
Yeah.
Because you have two spacing. So you have like a LP. This is regular one for the pneumatic bridge, which is a little bit narrow.
Yeah.
String spacing, and for the Floyd Rose, it's a F space, so it's a wider a little bit.
Interesting.
The difference between, I think, what I remember is 3 millimeters, maybe 2-3 millimeters, something like that.
Over the distance, it's
the distance, total distance, and the pins of the.
Okay, well that's interesting, because that leads me on to, I suppose, my final question that came up yesterday when I was just doing a couple of lessons, and it was because I let people know about the guitar. I was then happy to start doing my lessons on this guitar, and we were discussing it. Of course, some people were quite surprised, and which is a nice surprise actually. And we were discussing something about, a lot of people know I've worked with a wonderful luthier called Tom Waghorn locally here in Bristol, and my point of discussion I thought would be interesting to get your opinion on this is, because I've had the sort of joy of working very very closely with him, I guess for 10 years. Um, and he's extremely open to the artist's sort of ideas, right?
Mhm.
Um, but then I realized that sometimes that's not always good, because we don't always know what the hell we're talking about. And you
Mhm.
guys are the professionals at building.
Mhm.
Of course, it's an interesting balance because, so I guess what I'm getting at is, as a player, I feel like I have high demands for an instrument. Like, my biggest thing with Tom was asking about comfort. So I want to feel comfortable so I can do all my
Mhm.
crazy stuff and not feel like the guitar is getting in the way,
Mhm.
So that was my priority.
Mhm.
So my very first, like, it took us 5 guitars to get to the point where I mean, I mean, maybe a couple of guitars, and then I felt, yes, I'm getting to the where I want to get.
Mhm.
But like the first one, for example, we changed to a slightly shorter scale length. And I thought that would be good so I could stretch more and maybe get some more stuff. Um, but then in the end, maybe that wasn't the best decision, right?
Mhm.
There were some other things like, I made some great suggestions, I think, for me, which were the cutaways and stuff, and that really helped. So my question is, at what point does the artist need to kind of compromise because the manufacturer almost knows what's better for the instrument and the artist? It's just an interesting balance. What's your experience with that?
That's a good, I guess that's really a good question because I have this every time we going to create something different, like
Mm.
signature models, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
So the artists, if we have the artists, they really know what they want. It's
Mm.
and to be honest, it's the easiest way to work with, So they exactly know the measurement, they
Yeah.
the sound they're going to, so they are able to describe things, including wood preference.
Mm.
That's radius, fret size, the switching,
Yeah.
all this combination. But there's another type of artist. They are typical artists, so
Mm.
they 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 don't know what they want, but they want something nice, and then we have to make a double triple work because I'm trying to guess
Yeah.
what which direction we should go. And
Yes.
if we go in this direction, after a while he's decided, no, I prefer the other one we're talking about. So we're
Mm.
living this idea, because which I was sure that it's great idea, and
Mm.
now it's my way to not maybe convince, but just to tell the artist that, listen, we can make this way to the end and we'll see how it works, and
Mm.
then we can make another one, because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter that we make signature guitar, it's for the lifetime, it's
Yeah.
just the one model, and in 2-3 years we can make another with different ideas and concepts,
Yeah.
but we have to be somehow on the right way to the end of the
Yeah.
process.
Y-
And but most of the times the suggestions, the ideas uh, are great and very helpful, in
Mm.
terms of the neck profile, pickups, choice, switching, colors as well, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe wood we have like unlimited possibilities for the wood
Yeah.
which we're using, so we are not able to experiment on the wood, because so far it can be dangerous somehow, from the part of the availability, the option what we can get from the market and how the wood is stabilized or not, in general. If we find some crazy woods, like a palm wood, whatever it can be, because it's nice or whatever it is, it doesn't matter that it works in Japan for the customers when we do the instrument. So we want this to use the wood we can, and we're working for many years. So that's the point. But from the other aspects of the shape, concepts, some ergonomic, we are open. That's the point. That's why this cooperation is many times is very profitable for both sides.
No, it's really interesting. And as many people know, I'm very lucky. I've got so many guitars. We all love guitars, of course. Sometimes I do like picking up a Strat or a Tele or whatever, but as most people know, I've been playing my custom guitars for 10 years as my real guitar of choice. Of course, sometimes some gigs I like to do my stuff on a Strat or whatever, but to me, I also feel that I let the instrument lead the way, so if the instrument speaks to me and is like, play me, then I play it. And I love that, the freedom for that. So that's, and obviously right now I'm, excited by this, and I'm sure people are going to be seeing this in my hands for a good time. And that's kind of how I like it to be. So when people see me play something, it's an honest thing. It's not like because I have to play something, or that's where I always try and come from, and that's important to me. The instrument, to me, you got amps and cables and strings, guitars and pedals and effects, but for me personally, it starts with the guitar. The guitar is the most important thing. I want to feel that freedom on an instrument to just play. And if the guitar allows that, then I'm happy, and that's it. And then obviously the other things like the aesthetics, of course, the sound and all those things, is part of it. You want to love what you're playing, and I've only had it like a few days, but it's it's getting better and better. I just put some of my nines on it and just adjusted one or two things, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my god. And that's where I was really the most impressed, because as I told you, working with Tom for many years very closely, he lives 10 minutes from my house, and so I could check the neck, I could check these things, and I said to him, I want like the lowest action possible and stuff, and he's got it to a point where it's crazy. But then that was my surprise, that I could get this guitar, bam, to that point. So that really is an impressive feat, because from that experience with Tom, he tells me about like Strats and stuff, like it's physically impossible to get certain action because of the way that they're made, and obviously maybe they're designed for more like a blues guys that are just with a higher action. But if you're really trying to get too technical, they don't go like crazy low. So custom guitars that allow you to do that are wonderful, I think.
I'm glad that the first impression was good. Nowadays, when the customer is buying guitars, you have a chance to check it out before. But there's a percentage of customers, they buying instruments without checking them. So it's like a privilege for us, but not mainly, that we can do everything what we can do the best to deliver an instrument that we think customer will be happy. And so far it works. We're using Plek machine for the all frets leveling, so they're made accepted. We make them very precise in the production. So the inspection and the final Plek touch is the crucial moment for us before each guitar left the company. So that's it doesn't matter if it's going to Japan or Argentina or Mexico or the United States. It's always going through this process. So we are sure that it works. So far we are happy for that. Using this machine. We have it, I think now 10 years, maybe something like that. So something like that. So it's a great tool. And thanks to this and the technique we do, the instruments, we can achieve the the level, the action of the strings in the position, you accept it. So
I'm very impressed. Honestly, like that's yeah. Not every guitar can even go that low and feel comfortable. So I'm very very impressed with that. Now, final question actually, just again as a background to your company. So may I ask, when was it established? How long have you been going?
Established the company, the year was 1982. So last year we
82.
have
Wow.
40th anniversary.
Man.
The company started, my father with his friend on the very beginning. It was 1981,
Mm-hmm.
and his friend decided that he has to find another job. Actually, he went to what I remember. I was 3 years old, so
Cool.
uh, he decided to left to work to find some work in Germany, and he just gave it official piece of paper, handwritten that I giving you the company. So he
Wow.
gave it the company to my father,
Mm.
and my father started making instruments. Then my mom joined the company. She started making the accounting and started making pickups
Oh, cool.
early, yeah, in 1985 more or less. So
Wow.
you can imagine that we didn't have anything which we can use for building pickups. So we have to make all the jigs for the plastic bobbins and made it somewhere locally. Same
Yeah.
with magnets, wiring, and
Wow, man.
oh, that was really big challenge.
Yeah.
Mm, and after all these years, we decided to come back to this idea. That's why we started doing pickups again.
Wonderful.
So my mom is not making pickups at the moment, but it was the intention that come on, we should do it again. And after 40 years, actually nearly, so we come back to the roots.
That's great, man. That's
So
so cool. So cool. Well, look, man, thank you ever so much for having this chat today. I've learned a lot, which is wonderful. And the final thing is pronunciation, please.
Mayones
Mayonnaise.
guitars,
Mayonnaise. It's more like so it's like a silent A, right?
mayonnaise, yeah,
Mayonnaise.
mayonnaise
Yes.
guitars.
Mayonnaise. So I do apologize that I didn't say it great in my video, but from now on, mayonnaise, I will always say it right. Um, yeah, and listen, thank you ever so much, man. I'm gonna enjoy this and keep using it, and I've already started writing a track on it. So
Great.
I'm hoping it'll be cool and a little bit different. And again, like I said earlier, I let the instrument kind of dictate stuff, so it's quite different already from
Mm-hmm.
other stuff I write. So I'm pleased about that, and yeah,
Great.
looking forward to using it a lot more.
We're looking forward to hear that, and we're very, very happy to start working with you. And
Thanks, man. It's
that's
my
a
pleasure.
big pleasure for us.
Thank you. Well, yeah. Well, I hope you have a great weekend,
Yeah,
and
you too.
we'll speak again soon. And
Yeah.
yeah, all the best.
All the best to you as well.
All right, man.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye.
Bye.